Hey everyone. So I thought it would be really fitting since our Oracle Poll is all about uh, you know, power and moving into that kind of powerful energy leading from the heart center and like coming into our full potential. That I looked at working with a practice today that would help us work on kind of both of those things. So focusing on the heart centeredness, and yet, and from that place, not yet, like from that place, feeling that courage, right? And empowerment. So, yeah, putting those together, working on a heart empowerment practice today. Okay. So hopefully at the end of this, you feel a little more heart centered for sure. And also feeling that energy, that power um, running, through and out from your heart into all that you are um, doing and feeling and um, in your life, in your everyday life. So hopefully you'll be able to take that heart empowerment with you into your week this week. Okay, so we're going to start in a seated cross-leg position, whatever version of that is good for you. Okay, get comfortable. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine, right? Remember this throughout the practice, of course. You can, of course, at any time modify any pose, come into a completely different pose if that is what you feel would best fit for you today, right? So that's part of claiming that personal power, is realizing you have the power to do what you need to do. Okay. So letting the hands fall where they fall, so knees or thighs, taking a moment, just opening up that heart center, okay, rolling the shoulders up and open, slight tuck your chin, and then closing your eyes or softening your gaze, whatever you prefer. And then slowly taking a deep breath all the way in your nose. And then slowly out of your mouth. We're going to move into two more just like that. So slowly breathing in your nose and out your mouth. And again. And then falling into your natural breathing rhythm, but we're going to keep our focus and our attention on the breath as we do that. So just really feeling what your breath is doing in this moment. And beginning to notice the feel of air moving into your body on the inhale. And then the softening on the exhale, softening of your body. Now, on your next inhale, we're going to send our breath. So, feeling an expansion, and feel free to use a hand on your belly if you're maybe on the belly and a hand on the chest, just to really help hone our attention onto what's happening here. But on your next inhale, sending your breath as if it's going all the way down into your belly, like you're blowing up a balloon in your belly. So, feeling that inhale, expansion in the belly, and then exhale, release. So two more just like that, really focusing on the expansion into your belly. And then exhale, soften. And again. And now on your next inhale, sending the breath down to the belly and your lower ribs. So we're blowing up the balloon a little bit more. And then softening on the exhale. Maybe a gentle pulling in at the end of the exhale. And again, into the belly, and lower ribs. And then soften. And again. Now on your next inhale, we're sending the breath into the belly, the lower ribs, and the chest. So filling air all the way up to the top. And then exhale, slowly release. So release the chest, release the ribs, release the belly. Inhale into the belly, lower ribs and chest. Exhale, release the chest, the ribs, the belly. One more time, just like that. And now releasing the technique, you let your hands rest back down on your knees or thighs. And again, bringing the focus back to your breath, whatever it's naturally doing at this time. And I invite you now on your next inhale to visualize a green light at your heart center. And with the inhale, that green light is becoming brighter. Exhale, release. Inhale, green light becoming brighter. And as we take our time, breathing and expanding that green light out from our heart center, saying to ourselves quietly now, my heart is strong, open, and powerful. My heart is strong, open, and powerful. So setting the intention now throughout your practice today to remain open and powerful, leading from your heart center. All right. When you're ready, feel free to just open your eyes. Let's bring yourself back into the space, giving maybe your hands and your shoulders. Let's start with a few shoulder rolls, just some gentle movement. So inhale, I'm going to roll my shoulders forward and up. Exhale, down and back. A few more just like that. And then we're going to switch directions. So inhale, the shoulders back and up. Exhale, forward and down. So creating some space in our shoulders and around our heart space. Always leading with our breath. One more. All right. Okay. And now we're going to cross our legs just in the opposite direction. And then bringing our hands out in front. So we're coming into our tabletop position. So taking a moment in your tabletop, making sure your hands are centered under your shoulders, knees are under your chest, and toes can either be tucked or untucked. Yogi's choice. All right. And so now moving through a few rounds of cat and cow. So inhale, we're bringing the belly down. We're opening up the chest and our chin and our pelvis tilt up. And then exhale, we're curving up the spine and we're tucking our chin and pelvis. And so we're letting our breath lead. And we're flowing from our cow into our cat. Really focusing today on creating that space in our chest and around our heart center. Feeling any sensation in that area. Sending our breath deep. Let's go one more full cycle. All right, and after the last exhale, inhale, just coming back to that neutral tabletop position. On our next breath in, we're going to take the right arm and open up, out and up. And then exhale, we're going to bring that right arm down and under the left arm, coming onto the right shoulder. So coming into our thread the needle. So down on the right shoulder and the right cheek. Finding your breath. Option here to tent, coming up on the left fingertips or bringing the left arm back and behind. So either bringing the back of the left hand to the sacrum, lower back, or just opening up. So totally up to you. Finding that deep quality of breath. Deep yogic breath. So feeling that expansion here down to your belly as much as you can. Ribs and chest. A little tougher in the twist. Just finding the ease of flow and feeling the space you're creating between those ribs. Couple more deep breaths. And on your next exhale, if that left hand is up, just slowly bringing it down to support under the left shoulder. And then with ease, coming back up into your tabletop position. So I can definitely feel when I get up to my tabletop, the difference on that left side compared to the right side. So just taking a moment and really tuning into that, noticing that. All right, and now grounding the right hand into the mat, under the right shoulder, feeling supported there. And when you're ready, on an inhale, we're bringing that left arm out to the side and up. Gaze can go up as well. And then exhale, that left arm is coming down and under the right arm. So down to the right shoulder, the left shoulder and the left cheek, and finding your breath. And again, the option here to tent the right fingertips or to bring that right arm all the way back. Whatever you like, whatever feels best in your body today. And letting your breath create that space in your chest, between the ribs, down into your belly. A couple more just like that. One more deep breath. And then on the exhale, guiding, if the right arm is up, guide it back down. And then you can bring yourself all the way back up into that tabletop position. Finding your breath. And then moving through just a couple more rounds of cat and cow here. So inhale again, the belly is going down and the chin and pelvis tilting up. Exhale, we're curving the spine back up. So really feeling now like we're really feeling that space in the chest. And I'm also feeling it all the way down to my belly as well. More. And then exhale, last exhale. And then inhale, coming back to your neutral tabletop position. All right. And now we're going to tuck our toes. So you can definitely stay here in the tabletop position. But if you like to move into downward facing dog, we're going to tuck those toes if they are not tucked. And then inhale, slowly guiding the hips up into our downward facing dog. So just taking a moment here. This is our first one. Paddling out the feet. I went for a long walk this morning, so I'm definitely feeling like the calves and hamstrings are very tight today. So I'm just going to take a moment here and bring one ankle towards the mat, bend the opposite knee, and then I'm going to do that on the other side. Just ease myself into this one. And then when you're ready, so we're working on guiding our hips up, backs of the thighs to the back of the mat. Fingers are spread wide. Let your head just hang. Deep breath. Spine is long. There we go. One more deep breath. And when you're ready, we're going to slowly bring the right foot towards the front of the mat or between the hands. So you can use your hands to help guide here as well. So the right foot, and then we're going to lower down that back knee. So we're just coming into a supported low lunge here with the right foot forward. Okay. And taking a deep breath in. And on an exhale, we're going to sink just a little deeper than maybe we normally would here. So we're really feeling a nice stretch on the left quad. There we go. Deep breath in and out. Nice. And when you're ready, on an inhale, we're going to guide our arms all the way up into our full low lunge. You can also keep the hands on the thigh if that feels good. Just making sure that front knee is stacked over the front ankle. So opening up the chest here, perhaps trying cactus arms. Deep breath. And then exhale. Let's bring the hands all the way back down the frame of the front foot. Deep breath in. And exhale. We're going to lengthen that front leg as we walk our hands back into our half split. So just maybe needing to reposition here. I'm just guiding my right hip backwards. Okay. I'm going to get some length. Lengthen the spine here. I'm on my fingertips. If you have blocks under the hands, that would be a nice addition here. Flexing the right toes towards you. And then on an exhale, folding, hinging at the hips, keeping that length in the spine, just to where you are feeling a nice stretch. No pain, no strain, right? Finding your breath. This one is feeling amazing for me today. This one's a need. There we go. All right. And then when you're ready, slowly guiding a bend back into that front leg and walking the hands forward. Nice. And then we're going to step that right foot all the way back into, you can either come into your tabletop or your downward facing dog. Taking a couple deep breaths. Nice. And just noticing, right, that right leg, the right hamstrings, the right calf compared to the left. Notice the space you've created. All right. And when you're ready, on an inhale, you can step that left foot forward between the hands, lowering down the back right knee. So we're coming into that low lunge now on the other side. So deep breath in. And then on the exhale, just sinking a little deeper into that supported low lunge until you feel that nice stretch all along the right quad. Nice deep breath in. All right. And on your next inhale, option here to bring the arms all the way up into your full low lunge expression. You can do the cactus arms to open up the heart center a little more if you'd like. Deep breath all the way into your heart center. And then exhale, hands come all the way back down. This time we're going to step the left foot all the way back, walking our hands back. We're actually going to keep that left foot forward, sorry, but we're going to extend that left leg as we walk our hands back. We're going to come into our half splits on the other side. So flexing again, the left toes towards you. Inhale on the fingertips, get that length in the spine, and then exhale. If you have that flexibility, hinge at the hips and come a little deeper into that fold. So just guiding that left hip crease back. Deep breath. Let your breath lead, right? The breath is what's going to create that opening. If you're like me, you like to force things by nature, right? But that does not work with your body. That's for sure. Actually, it doesn't work with many things, to be honest. But definitely with your body, you don't want to be forcing anything. So just that nice deep breath, create the opening. And then you're able to sink a little deeper over time. There we go. And then when you're ready, on an inhale, we're going to start to walk our hands forward, bring that bend back to the left knee. Okay. Now we're going to step that left foot back and we're going to come into our tabletop position. So just getting realigned, knees under hips, hands under shoulders, finding your breath. All right. Feeling the space you created, your hips and your legs and your chest. And now we're going to walk the hands just a little bit forward, coming into our puppy pose. So for me, everyone's a little different. For my shoulders, I like to bring the hands a little bit wider than shoulder distance. Some people prefer the hand shoulder distance. And then we're going to bring the chest, and it can be forehead as well, down to the mat. Okay. The arms are active. They're still not like child's where the arms are down on the mat. The arms are active. Now, ideally, hips are over knees. You'll notice mine are a little further back. That just feels better in my shoulder joint. So again, make the pose your own. Do what feels best in your body. There's the option here to bring the gaze forward or to tent the fingertips if you want to come a little deeper. So very deep shoulder stretch here. Finding your breath. One more deep breath. When you're ready, you can slowly lower the forearms in the mat. Slowly guide your elbows back towards your knees. And then slowly on the forearms, coming back up into your tabletop position. So that one's a really, really good deep shoulder stretch. Feels amazing in the body. All right. So now we're going to step ourselves forward, coming into a standing forward fold at the head of the mat. Keep a little bend in the knees. Let your belly rest on your thighs. Arms and head just hang. Finding your breath. On your next inhale, we're going to halfway lift. Long spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale one more time. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And when you're ready, we're going to bring the arms all the way up and overhead, upward salute. And then exhale, palms together. Let's bring the hands down through that heart center into our mountain pose. So we're bringing the arms now all the way down, out to our sides. Palms are open and facing forward. Fingers are spread wide. Shoulders are open and down the back. Feet are grounded. Legs and core are strong. Deep breath in and out. So taking a minute, envisioning yourself as a mountain, a grounded mountain. And when you're ready, I'm going to take the arms all the way overhead. Gaze can go up. Exhale, bring the arms apart. We're going to swan dive. So leading with the chest all the way down into our forward fold. Deep breath in, deep breath out. All right. Hands come down to the mat. So taking the right foot all the way back. And again, you might want to widen your stance a little bit here so you feel nice and steady in the legs. Okay. Not like you're on a tightrope. And with that front knee stacked over front ankle, on an inhale, we're going to bring the arms all the way up overhead. Full high lunge. Deep breath in and out. Shoulders down from the ears. Legs are strong. On an exhale, we're going to open up, coming into our warrior two. So the back foot is flat on the mat. Sole of the foot's flat on the mat. Front knee is stacked over that front ankle. Arms, shoulders down from the ears. Arms are parallel to the mat. And your gaze is over the front middle finger. So deep breath in. Exhale, down. Shoulders come down. Deep breath in. And down. Deep breath in. Exhale, bringing the back hand down to the back leg, front hand palm up, comes up and over, reverse warrior. Option here to keep the gaze up at the top hand or down at the back foot. So deep breath. Trying to keep that bend in the front knee. One more deep breath in. And then exhale, top arm coming down. And we're going to clasp the hands behind your back, rolling the shoulders onto the back. Deep breath in, opening up the heart. And then exhale, guiding the chest forward and the left shoulder coming down to the left thigh. And the back arms can come up and over towards the back of the head. Humble warrior. Deep breath. So bowing. Full of empowerment. One more deep breath. And then on the exhale, bringing the hands to the lower back. Hands come down to frame that front foot. And we're going to come on the ball of the back foot this time and step that back foot all the way forward. So standing forward fold. Deep breath. Keep a little bend in the knees. Let the belly rest on your thighs. Let the hands and head hang. On an inhale, halfway lift. Hands on the shins or thighs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way overhead. And then exhale, hands down through the heart center and down at your sides, coming in back into our mountain. And again, feeling that power of the mountain in our stance with our feet grounded on the mat. Our legs are strong. Shoulders are down from the ears. Core is strong. Fingers are spread wide. I am grounded. I am radiant. All right. Your next inhale, let's sweep those arms all the way overhead. And then exhale, arms apart, swan dive. So chest leads all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands down to the mat, stepping that left foot all the way back. So coming into now the high lunge on the other side. So again, get nice and steady in that stance first. Okay, making sure that front knee is stacked over front ankle. And when you're ready, inhale, let's bring the arms all the way up, full high lunge. Deep breath. Shoulders down from the ears. And then on an exhale, let's open up into our warrior two on the other side. So warrior two, making sure the back foot is flat on the sole. Toes again dialed at about a 45. Shoulders down from the ears. Torso is open to the long edge of the mat. Front knee is still over that front ankle. Gaze is over that front middle finger. Deep breath. So sending our breath into our chest, expanding that heart center. Energizing our stance. And on the next exhale, lowering that back hand down to the back leg, front palm, inhale, up and over, reverse warrior. Again, gaze can be up or down towards the back foot. Feeling the space you're creating now, all along that right side body. All right. And then coming through our warrior two, we're now going to clasp the hands behind our back, rolling the shoulders onto our back, and then bringing our torso forward so that it's facing the front knee. Deep breath in, opening up the chest. And then exhale, guiding that right shoulder towards the right thigh. And then option to bring the clasped hands forward towards the front of the mat. So deep breath, humble warrior. So really feeling that fire in our legs. Sending our breath there. And then on an exhale, guiding the hands down towards the lower back, releasing the clasp, framing that front foot, and then coming on the ball of the back foot. We're going to step that back foot again all the way forward, coming into our standing forward fold. Option here to clasp opposite elbows. Find your breath. All right, releasing the elbows. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, sweeping the arms all the way overhead. And then exhale, hands down through heart center and down our sides. Finding your breath. All right. And so we're going to move now into a balance posture called dancer. So this one, again, involves balance. So if you know you're a little shaky on balance, definitely recommend moving towards maybe a wall just to help support yourself to get started. And the other thing I do love about dancer is there's all kinds of options with it. There's lots of stops along the way. So just start where you're at. Again, keeping that compassionate heart towards yourself. That's very important. And realizing that as you move through your practice, it will grow. Okay. So we're going to start by rooting. We're start with rooting the left foot into the mat. So really feeling the connection with our left foot onto the mat. Arms are out at our sides for support. Okay. So that might also be supporting against the wall. Here we go. Okay. So deep breath in, really feeling, bring all your attention down to that left foot. And then when you're ready, bringing a bend just to start to the right knee. Okay. So guiding that right foot up. So right here might be where your dancer is today. And then that's great. Okay. Step number 2 would be taking the right hand or the right foot into the right hand. So the top of the right foot into the right hand. So we want to make sure that our right knee is still pointing down. Okay, that's kind of step number 2. Staying with our breath. Step 3, we are guiding the left arm all the way up. So making sure that right knee is still pointing down. Okay. And then step 4, we are pushing the top of the right foot into the right hand as we hinge, keeping the chest open, forward. So the real trick with this one is keeping that knee, right knee, in line, not letting it splail out, right? Keeping it in line. Okay, so we're all going to be in different versions of our dancer here, and that's fine. Finding your breath. Remember, if you can't keep that ease of breath, you're pushing too hard. There we go. Couple more breaths, keeping the chest open. All right, and when you're ready, you can bring that right knee back in line. There we go. Release the right foot. And coming all the way back into our mountain pose, just for a couple breaths. Nice. All right. Okay. So now trying it on the other side. Okay. So we always start our balance poses by any of our poses, to be honest with you, from the ground up, right? So we bring all of our attention. I want to make sure we're balanced and grounded into that right foot, connected with the mat. There we go. Okay, arms are out to our sides to help steady us. And when you're ready, bringing a bend to the left knee. There we go. Okay. And again, this might be where you stay today. Okay. Option number 2, to take the left hand, the top of the left foot into the left hand, making sure that the left knee is pointing down. Finding your breath. Okay. Option 3, we're guiding that right arm all the way up. Keeping that ease in our breath. Do a little check-in. And then full expression option, pushing the left foot into the left hand as we hinge forward, keeping the chest open and keeping that left knee in line. We don't want it splaining out to the side. And finding your breath. Trying to keep that ease of breath. Open heart. Leading us forward. Couple more breaths. Doing great. And then on that exhale, coming back up and then slowly releasing into your mountain pose. So in our mountain, let's find the top of our mat. Feet are hip distance apart. Deep breath all the way in. Bring the arms all the way up. And then palms together. Exhale, bring the arms apart. 2 more just like that. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Last one. Inhale all the way up. And then exhale all the way down. All right. And now we're going to step our right foot back towards, or actually opening our body up to the long edge of the mat, towards the back of the mat. So we're coming into a wide leg stance. There we go. Okay. It doesn't have to be the absolute widest, but wide enough. There we go. Okay. On an inhale, we're going to inhale again all the way up. And this time we're going to bring the palms together and exhale, hands down the midline. Let's hinge at the hips. And coming into our wide leg forward fold. You can use your hands as support here. Finding your breath. Option to clasp the hands behind the back and allow the hands again to come towards the back of your head. So finding your breath. So these folds, forward folds especially, are really great for
calming that nervous system, bringing online that parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest response. So after a very powerful pose like dancer, this is a fantastic way to just bring that calm and ease to our nervous system. One more deep breath. And then on the exhale, the hands are clasped. You can release that all the way down to the mat. And bringing the hands down to the mat just for some support. We're going to take a deep breath in. And then on exhale, bending the right knee, we're coming into a side lunge. So watch. If this is not good for the knees, then you can just pass on this one, okay? So keeping the sole of the left foot planted on the mat. Couple breath. Then on our next inhale, we're going to come up through that wide leg standing forward fold. And then we're going to, on the exhale, bring a bend and side lunge to the other side. So bend that left knee. We're keeping the right sole of the foot on the mat. And falling into a couple deep breaths here. All right, inhale. Let's come all the way back up into our wide leg forward fold. We'll do inhale, halfway lift, so up on the fingertips. Exhale, fold. And now we're going to use our hands for support and just heel toe our feet a little closer together. So the hips are maybe a little wider than heels are a little bit wider than hip distance, and the toes are angled at about a 45 out. And then we're going to, on an exhale, bring the hips down. So we're coming into a yogic squat here. So for some of us, this can be a real tough one. You can always come down on your seat, right? That's an option, or use pillows underneath for support. And don't worry if the heels are off the mat. That's how I started out. So it takes a little while to get that full expression. We're going to bring the elbows to the inner knees, palms together, thumbs pressed into the heart center. So just falling into some nice deep breath. All right. And now we're going to bring the hands back behind for some support and bring our seat down onto the mat. Nice. We're actually going to use our hands to guide our back all the way down onto the mat. There we go. Okay. And we're going to bring the knees all the way into chest and wrapping our arms around our knees, a gentle rock from side to side along that lower back. Oh, there we go. And finding a deep breath. All right. And we're going to bring our hands just down long at our sides. And we're just going to tuck our hands a little bit. I like this. We're going to be doing a few leg lifts here. I do really like that support of my hands just under my hips a little bit here. Palms are down. And then when you're ready, bringing length to the legs above the torso. There we go. And a slight flexing of your toes towards you. So deep breath in and out. On your next inhale, we're going to slowly lower the heels towards the mat. So just above the mat. And then exhale, let's guide the feet all the way back up. Now, if you found that your lower back was peeling up there, just don't go quite as low. So inhale, lowering the heels towards the mat. Exhale, bringing them all the way back up. Now, if the two legs at once is a bit much, you can always lie one leg down the mat and just bring one leg down and up. Single leg lifts, and then switch into the other side. So whatever works for you. So letting your breath lead.
And if you're thinking, wow, I've done these before really quickly, I'm thinking back to when I used to do taekwondo or kickboxing. That seems a lot harder. It is. When you're going slow like this, right? It's actually a lot more challenging. Let's go for a couple more. Yeah, faster is not always better. All right, and after that last one, let's guide those knees back into chest. Little rock from side to side. We keep the arms now down long at our sides, palms facing down. We're going to guide the feet down onto the mat as well. Keep the knees bent. And we're going to guide our ankles so that they're almost touching our fingertips. And the feet are hip distance apart. Okay. On your next inhale, we're going to push into the feet, keeping the knees hip distance apart. We're going to guide our hips all the way up. Into bridge. Head is in line with our spine. Exhale. Let's bring the hips all the way back down. Inhale, hips all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Last one. Inhale all the way up. I'm going to hold it for just a few breaths here. Option to bring a bend to the elbows or to clasp the arms and roll the shoulders onto your back. Couple more breaths. And on the exhale, let's release the hands and slowly guide the hips all the way down. And taking a deep, mindful breath. There we go. Now, taking our right leg, we're going to cross that right leg right over top of the left thigh. Okay. And then taking the arms just either out at the sides in the T or in our cactus arms. We're going to take a deep breath in and guide our knees in towards chest. And then exhale, let the knees fall towards, might have to guide the hips a little bit, towards the left. And then gaze can go wherever is good. For me, I'm going to go to the right. Now, if this pretzel legs supine twist is a bit much, you can always just uncross the legs and come into your regular supine twist. And remember to keep that right shoulder planted onto the mat. Finding your breath. All right, and when you're ready, you're slowly bringing your gaze back up and guiding the knees all the way up through center. Let's unwind those legs, taking a deep breath in and out. And now taking the left leg, crossing it over top of that right thigh. And maybe just a slight shifting of the hips towards the left. There we go. Okay. Deep breath in. We'll bring the feet up off the mat. And then exhale, let the knees fall towards the right. And gaze goes wherever is good for you. For me, I'm going to bring it towards the left. And then finding my breath. Keeping the left shoulder planted onto the mat. When you're ready, slowly guiding your gaze and your knees up through center. Unwind. Now guiding the knees towards chest. We're going to bring the knees apart to either side of the torso. Hands go either on the soles of the feet or on the shins. They're on the soles either from the inside or outside. So you got to kind of feel what feels best for you into our happy baby. And then just a little maybe rock from side to side here along the lower back if that feels good. Or you can just come into your stationary version of your happy baby. Deep breath. Just let gravity do its work here. And when you're ready, you're going to release your legs long down the mat and feel free to make any adjustments that you need. We're moving into our final Shavasana. Oh, there we go. So when you move into your final Shavasana, feel free to use a pillow on your head or under your knees. We're going to let our legs go long and let our feet roll open. Arms are out at your sides, palms facing up. Head is in line with your spine, and then if you haven't already, closing your eyes. Taking a deep breath in and out. Let yourself just settle into your space. Allowing yourself just to rest for these last few moments. And when you're ready, feel free to bring a little movement back into your fingers and toes. Maybe giving yourself a nice stretch all the way overhead. Slowly guiding yourself onto one side. And pause here for just a few more breaths. And when you're ready to slowly guide yourself all the way back up into your seated cross-legged position. Let your hands come to your heart center. So one hand on top of the other, slowly closing your eyes. And sending your breath deep into your heart center. And visualizing that green light once again, growing brighter and brighter with each breath. And saying quietly now to yourself, I lead with love. I radiate strength and compassion. Deep breath in and out to seal that. And bringing the palms now together. thumbs pressed into the heart center. And just taking this final moment of gratitude for this time and space for our practice today. Thanking yourself for creating that. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining me for that practice. I feel like that is something I'm going to really try and take off the mat with me today into this next week, of that empowerment, remembering my power and realizing when I connect to that heart space, how powerful I can indeed be, right? That heart empowerment is where it's at for sure. And it takes time, right? And it takes awareness, mindfulness in the moment now, right? That you always have the power to do that. I always have the power to do that. I really try and remember that. Okay, well, thank you guys so much. Until next time, take care. I hope you have a great day.